That's the end of the regular season, Rube.
Yeah, what a way to go out, too. They were going to bring in the backup podcast crew, but they already have it, I think.
Oh, I got my one snap. I'm Jason Kelsey. I'm going to take off and go home. I'll let you guys finish. No, I can't do that, can
I? No. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. End of the regular season. And it's the playoffs now, and let's just forget that as fast as we can.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast presented by Nissan with Reuben Frank. I'm Dave Zangaro. The final score pretty ugly, 51-26. But, I mean, you know, the Cowboys play their starters for over three quarters. The Eagles had guys out there, I mean,
who'd never played.
They weren't even on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate when the two teams' approach doesn't line up. You have two teams that are playing the backups. You have a fair fight, and you have two teams that are playing the starters the same way. But you have to do what you think is best. As they probably lost their top 10 defensive ranking, with this. You give a 51 points, stuff like that. But you really have to focus on what's important. And the most important thing is being ready for next weekend. And if they go out and beat whoever they end up playing in the wild card round, 51-26 gets forgotten very quickly.
Yeah. And we talked about this all week about the decision facing them. I think they made the right choice. I do. And I understand that some people think you need momentum going into the playoffs. And I understand that, but I think being healthy is far more important. I think Dallas got lucky in this game. Could you imagine if Dak Prescott blows out his knee in this game?
Yeah. I mean, they were playing. I mean, CeeDee Lamb played three quarters. I mean, it was. I don't know what.
And look, they I guess they had theoretically something to play for. They need a lot of things to go their way to get the 2 seed, but I understand at least why they did it. I wouldn't have done what they did, but at least there was a reason. For the Eagles, there was really no reason at all.
No, you're right. Zero. So it's tough to look up at the scoreboard and see that score, but I'm just a big believer. Look, has any team ever gotten a first round bye and said, no, we don't want it because we want momentum? I mean, you play the whole season to get the best possible seeding, right? Isn't that what it's all about? And if you have an opportunity to get a first round bye and have that week off, you take advantage of it. You rest guys. And they had that. They had that opportunity, and they took it, even though it wasn't the first round of the playoffs. It's similar, and you're going to go into – I mean, they got guys banged up. It's a long season. I mean, it's the longest season ever. The bye came really late, so they were grinding for 3 months straight before they even had a week off. And I think the opportunity to get guys rest, get them fresh, get them sharp, definitely to me by far outweighs. And I don't even believe in the momentum thing. I don't buy that. I mean, you don't see teams sluggish after the bye week or sluggish, if they have a number 1 seed or number 2 seed until this year. I don't buy that. And, we've seen this team every time they've rested guys, they've played well the next week in the postseason. So I don't believe it. I don't think it's a real thing. I think for a younger team, maybe it's more important than for a veteran team, but the need to rest guys like Slay and Fletcher and Lane and Goddard by far outweighs anything they would have gotten by playing. It just doesn't make sense.
And especially some of those guys you mentioned, over 30 can use the rest, certainly.
Rodney, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jalen Hurts, I know he looked good last week, but that ankle's still not 100%. So to me, that was the biggest no-brainer ever. You have a quarterback who's still on your injury report. There's no chance you play him. And they made that decision early in the week. Gardner Minshew found out he was starting. Kudos to them. They kept it in-house for competitive advantage.
We all knew.
We all knew. And look, once the offensive line, you found out those guys probably weren't going to play, it made it pretty clear that Jalen Hurts wasn't going to play.
But you want to see Jalen Hurts behind Casey Tucker?
Actually, you know what? Those guys weren't awful.
They weren't great.
Well, yeah, they weren't great.
But they
weren't awful.
Considering they're on their third center and third everything. Yeah. So
that's the biggest deal to me is resting Hurts.
Yeah, and
making sure, because it's such a big difference him at 100% versus whatever percent he would have been had he played in this game and possibly tweaked it again.
Right. So Nick said that they think he'll be 100% next weekend.
And if that's the case, then yeah, no, duh, you do it.
Yeah.
Because him at 100% with his ability to run, I mean, that's huge.
Did you just say duh?
Yeah. No, duh. Yeah.
Dave went duh on us. Yeah. No, Dave's going to say duh and then leave. That's continue my streak. Got my streak going. But yeah, I couldn't agree more. The whole staying sharp thing. I mean, look, they won 6 of their last 7 games. They're not going to lose the things they were doing well. They're not going to lose they're not going to stop being able to run the ball because they took a week off. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. The other side of this is, what did you make of them going after some records in this game? He made it pretty clear.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't try to hide what they were doing. Kelsey gets 1 snap and comes out. Devontae Smith breaks Deshaun's record.
Plays one more snap,
but then comes out.
Yeah,
I think that maybe they weren't able to do the math that quickly on the sideline, but he comes out, and then Nick was at least cognizant of the rushing record, the team rushing record, and they broke that.
Yeah, I mean they only needed 50 yards for that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean Devontae was able to get out of there before the end of the first quarter. It's not like he needed 100 yards, so. Yeah, I mean, it's weird, 17-game season. But, I mean, a record's a record. I can't get super excited about Devontae. I mean, heck, the real rookie receiving record belongs to Don Looney. 1940 had 706 yards. That's the most ever by an Eagle rookie per game. I think a lot of these records should be per game, right?
No, because, baseball doesn't do that.
Yeah, but baseball's been either 154 or 162 since, 1890.
Yeah.
So, I mean, baseball hasn't, baseball, what's that? That's an 8-game difference over 100 years, more than 100 years. Football's gone from 11 to 12 to 14 to 16 to 17. They've almost doubled the season. So that's different.
Yeah, but I mean, asterisks everywhere.
No, I mean, it's a record. I like the idea of going by game.
Okay.
Or by scheduled game, if you play 13 games, still by 16 games. So, I mean, look, Devontae had a really good season, and if it meant something to him,
I don't think it did.
Yeah, I think it meant more to Nick.
Yeah. I mean, Devontae was like, yeah. I mean, I think he thought it was cool after the fact because people were making a big deal of it.
Yeah. If I'm Deshaun, I'm like, Deshaun's like, if I played another game, I would have had 1,000 yards. Don Looney's like. And I just talked to Don. I just got off the phone with him. He said in 1940, if I'd played 16 games, I would have 1,500 yards. But
that telegraph from Don Looney came in.
I do think, that telegraph. I do like Kelsey playing a snap because, Kelsey. I think that the consecutive game streak really kind of symbolizes who he is and what he's about. Just answering the bell for his team every week for 7.5 years now. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the next longest streak by an interior lineman is started in 2017 and his started in 2014. Yeah. I love that. He's just so much better and so much more durable. It's crazy that he's so undersized, but he's so good. He played great on that one snap. I gave him an A+. I like the fact that it's just a durability thing, and he's probably been more banged up than anybody in the league during the length of that streak.
I'll tell you what was more impressive to me. After he came out of the game, no coat. He just stood there on the sideline with no sleeves for the rest of the game.
You work up a pretty good sweat playing a rep.
I mean, I couldn't stop watching him on the sideline, no coat on. They have those big coats, and he's just standing there, just hanging out, no sleeves. I'm in the press box with my coat on.
I did my pregame just with fleece on.
Did you?
Yeah.
I
still haven't recovered.
I still have my hat on. I had hat, gloves, scarf, coat.
Yeah. Yeah. I was pretty.
I would have wrapped myself in a blanket if they let me.
Hugh Douglas used to wear a giant blanket, I don't even know what it was. It was like a blanket that goes over your head and it's like a body blanket.
Huh.
Yeah, he used to come to the pregame show and wear a body blanket. This tough former NFL player. He's like, I'm cold.
I get it.
But anyway, it was cold. But Yeah, the Kelsey one. I mean, I don't begrudge anyone any record. I just can't get. And look, until you have 1,000 yards, like a single season record, it's not super. It's not a super high number.
Yeah, I got out of him that was one of his goals. Did you catch that?
He did say that. Yeah, that was good.
1,000.
No Eagles had 1,000 yards in a season since Macklin in 2014. He had his big year and played half the season with Mark Sanchez. So, yeah, I'm good for them, but it's not something I get super excited about.
Yeah, I think it's more like a little pat on the back for you. Job well done.
Yeah, no question. Hey, score big with the AAA Eagles MVP membership, along with the superb roadside assistance and discounts you've come to expect from AAA over the years. Get exclusive Eagles-related perks. For all the details, visit AAA.com/Eagles.
All right, Rube, so I figured this game is kind of a weird one, but
here's one word for it.
Let's just go from each side of the ball and kind of just give some takeaways. On offense, I mean, they got off to a pretty hot start. They did. I thought Gardner Minshew was playing well. They were running the ball well. That might be the big takeaway for me, is that they ran the ball well with complete backups on the offensive line and a rookie at running back.
I mean, you with no offensive lineman, no starting offensive lineman, or even backup, like Sua didn't play. You didn't have, and then without Miles, Jordan Howard, and Boston Scott, they still ran for 149 yards.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And without Jalen, which has been a big part of their rushing attack.
I thought Gainwell looked great.
Really good.
Really, really impressive. He was playing against ones. I thought Jason Huntley, a guy we've been talking about since training camp, I thought he did some really good things.
He's got some juice.
Yeah, he does. And he had a good kick return, too.
Part of me is thinking, can this guy be on the roster? I guess not. You can't keep 5 running backs active if Miles is back. But
yeah,
having him as a kick returner sounds pretty good.
I know. I don't know how you would, unless you want to just you know what? You shut down Jalen Reagor. Jason Huntley is going to help you more than Jalen Reagor. He just is. Yeah. He's just in the return game. He played one game and he did more in that one game than Rager's done in his life in the return game. Well, Reagor had a long punt return, but Gainwell. Let's talk about Gainwell for a second, because I think he's been a little up and down during the year with fumbles and drops, especially maybe the last. And there's been games he hasn't played. There's been games he's played a lot. I think he's handled it all really, really well. Yeah. He's a really mature kid, really plugged in. I was impressed with his toughness. I mean, he had some really tough, getting extra yards after the first hit. I don't know what he finished with, 78 yards.
Yeah.
And he had one long catch. He had a 9-yarder for a first down. But I like watching him. He's a fun. This team is so loaded at running back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Miles will play. I would think they're going to try to play him next weekend. Jordan, we'll see. Boston's healthy. But I like Gainwell. I just think he's a real – to get him in the 5th round, I know Howie gets a lot of grief for a lot of things, and he deserves some of it. But to get this kid in the 5th round, what a steal.
Yeah, already worth that pick.
Yeah.
6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns. The last Eagle rookie with more was Don Johnson in 1953.
Yep. That was a nice alley-oop for me. I knew where you were going with that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Don Johnson, not the same Don Johnson. Of course, every time I tweet about him,
everyone
is that the guy that sang Heartbeat? What a great song. Yeah. Finder's this is my favorite song.
Gainwell was great. Quez Watkins, I know that touchdown came at the end of the game, but he had a chance to play quite a bit and made some plays. He ended up with 650 yards on the season.
Yeah. Yeah, another late round, 6th round pick?
6th round pick. I mean, that's pretty good production, especially when they're not going into games trying to get him the ball. So I think that's a pretty good season for him.
Oh, absolutely. And remember, he didn't play much last year.
He played the last 4 games.
The last couple of weeks.
And he showed something, but it was he got a lot better.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, he did. And I think he showed that he's not just a guy that can run go routes. I mean, he's got a game. He's got some game. And one of my favorite plays today was Quez didn't he catch the 4th down pass from Minshew, and he just kept running laterally until he got the edge, and he just got the first down. There's not many guys that have the speed to to turn a corner like on NFL
That
safeties.
was a fun play. Now
It was
that
a really
I remember
fun
it,
play.
because he was running the crosser, and I think Gainwell was the first read. Minshew, it wasn't open. Minshew went. That was a fun play.
And that's a play that never works because guys, you can't run sideways and then he can do it because he's so fast. And they've got two wide receivers who are pretty good.
Yeah. Devontae played pretty well.
Yeah.
As you'd expect.
Didn't play long, but yeah.
Tyree Jackson, who we'll talk about, the injury really sucks, but got his first NFL catch is a touchdown on a shovel.
Yeah. I was happy for him. He's been through a lot, and he's been banged up, but I think he has a chance to be a player. We'll see. I mean, he's got to stay healthy, and for a guy who was a quarterback a year ago, he's a year ago now. He was a quarterback. To score a touchdown and his first catch is good for him.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the defense. The numbers look awful. I mean, 51 points, Dak throws for 5 touchdowns. And they didn't play well. And I guess that's one thing that you look at. Some of these guys are going to play. I mean, the D-line specifically, some of those guys play a lot, Ryan Kerrigan and, Teron Jackson, I think, had a very good game. Like, some of these guys play. Hassan Ridgeway. And that's a concern.
Kerrigan and Ridgeway, man, they both had tough days today.
Yeah. But on the bright side, Milton Williams is a player.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I feel like he's coming on strong these last few games.
Which is unusual for a rookie.
Yeah,
right?
He's peaking right now.
Yeah. And he talked last week about the rookie wall and how he's really had to battle through that. Mm-hmm. He's played every game, right? He's one of those guys who hasn't missed a game. I like him and interested to see where he goes from here. This is a good draft, and we're talking about some draft picks here.
He played edge today, and he was good.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. All year I've been trying to figure out what his better position is, and I still don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think he's pretty good, but I still think he's a D tackle mainly.
Yeah, but
yeah,
he looked pretty good out there today.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did. He's an interesting player. And again, we're talking about Gainwell and Devontae and Dickerson didn't play today, but I mean, this is a really good draft.
Yeah. Anything else from defense that stood out? I mean, some of the secondary breakdowns weren't great.
No. I thought Josiah Scott made some plays.
Yeah, he got a big tackle for loss, right?
I think they gave him Raequan Williams sack. He was actually the first guy to touch.
Oh, did they really?
I think they did. He was the first guy to touch Dak.
Oh, man.
Raequan was kind of there, but he didn't touch him.
Are they both Michigan State guys? Is Josiah Scott a Michigan State guy?
I don't know. Let me ask Ike. He knows all those guys.
He does, yeah.
But I'll let you look that up. But
he is, yeah. So one Michigan State guy stole a sack from another one.
Interesting.
That's how my mind works, and I hate it so much.
I think they don't have a lot of depth on defense, and I think we saw that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I thought McPherson didn't have a great day, but they've been really lucky. I mean, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything, but they've been very healthy on defense. BG obviously was huge and a huge loss, but for the most part, they've been intact on defense, and they just don't have a lot of wiggle room there. And I think we kind of saw evidence of that tonight.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair. I'm trying to think, like a linebacker. TJ didn't play. Singleton's on the COVID list. So Sean Bradley, we'll get to him in a minute, but it was a shame to see him get hurt because he was finally getting a chance to play extended snaps. I guess if we looked at offense and defense, we might as well look at special teams. I thought it was kind of cool. Nick Sirianni was asked for some guys that stood out, and the first player named was Mac McCain on special teams. That's pretty cool. That's the first place his mind went, was a practice squad defensive back playing in his first game for the Eagles, or did he play earlier? He might play earlier in the year, but anyway, that's pretty cool.
I think he played a couple games, but I can look it up. But I know he did not go to Michigan State. That kind of surprised me. Huntley had a good return. You saw Jacoby Stevens did not do well on defense, but he made a couple plays, I thought, on special teams.
Yeah. The defense wasn't good.
Defense was And again,
and they went right at him.
It's like I think they have well, first of all, they played more regulars on offense. I mean, Devontae and Quez are guys that are in the regular. I mean, they didn't even play the regular backups
on defense. Yeah, I mean, a few of them, I guess, like McPherson, but not many.
Yeah. So I mean, so you've got Dak out there with Cooper and with I mean, gosh, they have
as Jim Schwartz would say, tough duty
with Zeke out there and CeeDee Lamb out there and Corey Clement out there. It was, it was pretty early in the game. I thought they're going to score 50.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
The other thing on special teams, Jake Elliott was great, but the punter
is an issue.
Two shanks.
Yeah, averaged 29 on.
I know
punts.
It's cold, but that's a little concerning.
Yeah, I mean, I was starting to wonder: is he hurt? Nick, maybe tomorrow because.
And I'll tell you what, I was watching that practice squad kicker warm up today.
Yeah, me too.
They better hope Jake Elliott. They better put Jake Elliott in a bubble.
He almost hit me with one of his field goals when I was about to do my pregame hit. I think I got to keep Jake Elliott away from in a meeting room. How about who are we talking to? Oh, Gardner was asked about the quarterbacks each being in separate rooms. In separate meeting rooms.
Yeah, he lucked out.
I don't mind it. I got the nicest room. I got like the board room. So I don't mind it. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else, but and you know what? The punter is an issue because I think in the postseason, like they're going to be playing a better team, and
they need everything to go right.
Field position, is like
a bad punt could screw up everything.
If you give Tom Brady the ball in the 43. It's like it's a layup for him. Sipos was. I mean, he was booming him early in the year, so it's definitely a concern. I don't know. Savroka out there somewhere.
I mean, there's not much you can do about it.
No, not now. Because you bring in a punter, he doesn't know the system.
Well, he's also the holder too. And you don't want to screw up that operation.
We keep him as the holder.
Have two punters on the roster.
Like Coy, they brought Coy back once, not as a quarterback, but as the holder. But that's a concern. Field position is so big in the postseason. Nissan just made your choice for a new car an easier one than ever with their most exciting and fuel-efficient lineup. And the choice is yours. Get great offers across Nissan's full line. Shop your local Nissan store today at nissanusa.com.
All right, Rube, I figured we'd finish this off with some injury stuff. Tyree Jackson, that didn't look good. I mean, that was a non-contact grab at the knee right away, ruled out pretty quickly. You just feel for him. It's a loss for the team, but you feel more for him that he finally gets a chance to catch some balls, and he's come so far, and now he's going to have this setback.
Yeah. I mean, they're lucky they have Richard Rodgers, who I guess would be the next man up. Caught a couple balls.
Or Noah Tagoa.
Noah had he had a penalty?
He had a penalty.
A holding penalty. I thought he played well on special teams, actually.
He had a big tackle.
Yeah, he did have a big tackle.
Blew the guy up on a punt.
I don't know how good a blocker he is.
Number 83 in your program, number 1 in your heart.
Richard Rodgers is not a blocker, but he can catch the ball. You have Jack Stoll, who's a good blocker. You feel bad for him. I mean, not a huge loss, but he has been playing.
Yeah, I looked it up. 8 of his 9 games this year, he's played in 9 games. 8 of them, he's had at least 14 offensive snaps, which is quite a bit for the third tight end. I mean, they really do use them in 13 personnel packages quite a bit. Yeah,
it's true. It's not a huge loss, but it's a loss. And then Sean Bradley, who's been one of their best special teamers.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on there. They listed him with a shoulder injury. If you guys remember, he had a stinger last Saturday. He was driving to the NovaCare complex, got in an auto accident. The team said it was a fender bender. They kept him out of that game for precautionary reasons, but then you suffer a shoulder injury the next game. We're kind of connecting the dots here, which might be irresponsible, but it seems like they might be connected.
But on a podcast, you can do that. Like, we can't write it,
but we can talk
on
about
a podcast. We can.
Well, I wrote the things, but didn't connect them. You let people connect them for themselves.
Right.
Yeah, but you hope he's okay. I mean, that would be a pretty big loss. I I mean, he's a Pro Bowl alternate for a reason. He's been really good on special
Really
teams
good
this year.
special teamer. Rancocas Valley. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, I do.
The Red Devils. Yeah, so you hope. And, I watched the play a couple times, and it didn't look like anything.
I mean, as soon as it happened, he was like his arm was slumped, and he looked just pissed. Like he was frustrated for sure.
Yeah, and you just hope he's okay. They certainly need him. That'd be a big loss.
Yeah. The good news is we'll see about Miles Sanders. I think there's some optimism around him being able to play next week. That would be a big boost.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because I'm not even sure Jordan Howard, he didn't look right to me.
He didn't. We'll see what the week did for him.
Yeah. Look, Jordan Howard's he was really good for that stretch of games when he came back before he got hurt. But, Boston has played well. Gainwell's played well. I don't know. If Jordan Howard's not 100%, because so much of Jordan Howard's game is power. And if he can't carry tacklers and he doesn't have value.
Yeah. So
it's going to be interesting to see what the running back rotation is, for the playoff game.
Got anything else?
Yeah. Can we just talk about Reagor and J-Jaw real quick?
Yeah, we have to. That J-Jaw drop, you feel bad because at a certain point, it's like he just is what he is and he's not good. And I feel bad dragging him. But, I mean, how do you not catch that ball?
I'm sure he was hoping that they did call OPI on him, so the drop wouldn't count. It would just be a penalty.
I don't even know if it's a drop.
Oh yeah, it went through his hands.
It didn't touch him.
I think it did touch him.
Did it touch him?
I think it. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it just went through his. Yeah, I don't know. You catch that by accident.
It was bad. Not as bad as you're going to see.
Yeah.
He had time to. He tracked it. He was there and he just missed it.
Then he had a penalty and he had a drop. That turned into an interception, right? Wasn't it? I mean, it was just. I mean,
this is a game where there's no pressure. Just go out and play.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. And it's you feel bad for him because he seems to have the right attitude. He seems to be a nice, humble kid who wants to be good, and he's just not.
Yeah. Well, at least he got open. And Reagor, you would think in a game like this, I don't know what his final numbers were. You think in a game like this,
he ended up making a few catches, I think.
2 for 19. Are we going to get excited about 2 for 19 for a first-round pick and 3 carries for 8 yards or whatever it was?
Well, it was nice to see Sirianni dial up that negative play again. He's due to break one of those, right?
Yeah, just keep doing it 3 times a game, and maybe in 2028 he'll break one.
He's a negative player.
He
hurts more than helps him.
They would be better off making him inactive.
Yeah, I agree. I just
play Greg Ward. I don't care. Play John Hightower. I don't know. I mean, obviously Hightower is not in their in their
keep
plans.
him. Keep him as a punt returner, I guess. I hope he breaks one there. I don't know. It's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get better.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's going to. I mean, so you have 2 of these. You have Reagor and beyond where they were drafted and that they're draft disasters. They're bad players, and it's really hard to win games against good teams with 2 wide receivers. That's what they have. And Greg Ward's clearly the 3rd best receiver, but he barely plays. I mean, he's made more big plays than either of them, and he plays 10% of the snaps that they do.
Yeah.
Or at least that Reagor does.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to go to LA and beat the Rams with 2 wide receivers. It's bad. I know it would be drastic to make him inactive, and I don't know.
That time passed. If they were going to do it, they would have done it.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt it's not going to happen. But if I was a coach, it would happen.
If I was a coach, it would have happened when I was asking Nick Sirianni about it 2 months ago.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, look, they want to. Clearly they're desperate to find something. Look, he's one of the worst punt returners in the league. He's averaging 2 yards a carry.
He lost kick return responsibility.
And he can't catch. He's 0 for 4.
Yeah.
He's not even a good interview.
He's not right.
He's actually best. That's what he's best at out of those 5 things. He's
Yeah.
best at being an interview. So it's really a shame.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Man, we're really ending on a sour note.
They lost 51-26 and the receivers stink.
Well, I have a good one. You got to see Ajayi.
Got to see Jay. I sent you the audio, by the way.
I didn't have a chance to listen.
Yeah, it was good to see Jay.
I wanted to see him. I didn't see him anywhere.
Yeah, he was at the
he officially retired.
Officially retired.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't played since 19.
Yeah,
he's only 28.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But he's involved in music. He's producing and recording, and he really likes that, and he's enjoying it. He's keeping himself busy. It's a shame. I mean, he was so good. Like, he made a Pro Bowl his second year. Kind of a little bit of a parallel with Jordan Howard. Jordan has had a better second stretch, but made a Pro Bowl, had a 1,000-yard season early in his career. And man, it's funny. He only played like 11 games as an Eagle.
And you know what's funny? I was thinking about that because he's like retiring and like having a send off here. And at first, like, why doesn't he? Oh yeah, it didn't end well. Yeah, in Miami, this is his only option.
And he talked about that a little bit, how burnt he was down there, and obviously talked about the Super Bowl run. And it's funny, like LeGarrette and Ajayi both came here with people wondered about their character and off the field and locker room stuff, and they were such team players.
They were great.
They got along great. They were both unselfish. I really thought that was one of the pivotal things about the Super Bowl run, was those two personalities meshing, along with Corey Clement and Wendell.
How about being in the building today? Yeah, Jay and Corey.
Yeah, and Corey with his first touchdown since the Super Bowl, touchdown catch.
Amazing.
That is.
I always appreciated Ajayi because it was always nice to get turned down for an interview with a British accent.
Well,
not today, Dave.
That's good. He one of my favorite days at the Super Bowl was, I think it was the Friday before the game, was our last availability. And I talked to LeGarrette about the two of them and just how well they meshed together. And, and then I was like, man, I really need to get Jay, but he doesn't really talk. And I found him. They were at the tables, and he filled it up for me. He was great. And then I ran and got Deuce, who was great about them, and had myself a story. Had myself a nice story. That
I always liked Jay. Me and Jay got along.
Yeah. So it was good to see him.
All right, that's it. That's all we got. If you enjoy the podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods.
Well, let's never mention this game again.
Fair. I can do that. Yeah. No problems there. We'll be following along on Sunday, seeing who the Eagles face in the playoffs. It's playoff football time. That's really exciting. For Reuben, I'm Dave. This has been Eagle Eye presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.